The Dice Odyssey.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz.
Still Greg.
And we have a special guest here.
My name's Parrish.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about Vikings and pillaging and destroying people's lives, which is what Vikings did in Blood Rage. Now, this game was designed by Eric Lang, and it was released by Cool Mini or Not. And this is one of the most popular games that's come out in the last year or so, and still getting a ton of buzz today. And what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how it plays, and then we're going to come back to the table and give you our final thoughts. But for now, take a look at that amazing artwork. We're just going to go give an overview and get you kind of an understanding. All right, first thing is you've got 9 provinces broken up into 3 regions, okay? You got a blue region here with 3 provinces in it. You've got a yellow region here with 3 provinces, and you've got 2 more provinces in a gray region, okay? And then you have Yggdrasil, which ties all 9 provinces together. You also have little water areas here, basically the sea, which are called fjords, and you got several of those here, and these are the places that your ships can go in when we actually get to it, okay? Also, within each province, you're going to have little village icons here, and these are where your soldiers or your troops are going to go ultimately. The only place that doesn't have that specifically is Yggdrasil, where any number of troops can go, okay? Now, if you notice, you've also got these little tokens right here. This represents rage, horns, axes. You'll understand what those mean here in a moment. But those are specifically the kind of upgrades you would get once you do pillage. Now this is going to be your round tracker, okay? The game is divided into 3 rounds called ages, first, second, and third. Now in each age, you're going to be given a deck of cards to draft out to all the players, okay? And basically what you're looking at is, at the end of the round, you show all these different little actions you're going to take, and you're going to move this thing down, and then at the end of the round, Ragnarok happens. And what this basically represents, these doom tokens, or I'm sorry, these area tokens, it basically shows the next area on the board that's going to be destroyed, and we'll explain that here in just a moment. But as you notice, see the numbers here in blue for each individual figurine that is in the area that is represented by these specific tokens here. You're going to get 2 points for each one that is destroyed during Ragnarok. Okay, again, the game really focuses on dying a lot, and you can get a lot of points for dying and for anything else. Now this is going to be your very specific player board that you're handed out. This represents your clan. Now this is going to represent what kind of upgrades you get in your clan. It's going to tell you exactly what actions you can do each turn, which by the way, you can do 1 action per turn unless you have a special ability which combines into other actions. It shows you leader upgrade, warrior upgrade, ship upgrade, and then one of my personal favorites is the monster upgrade, which I think it's everybody's personal favorite, quite frankly. But at the same time, you're also going to show you rage, axes, horns. Remember what we talked about with the board, with the upgrades that you get for pillaging in the villages there? Well, you can actually upgrade this all the way up, even to 12 rage. Now, for example, let me show you this. Rage is basically like your currency. This is going to pay for things. You have to use rage to be able to do several of these different types of actions, to pay for cards, to summon monsters, so on and so forth. Rage is very, very important in the game. Beginning of the game, you're going to start out with 6 rage, okay? But let's say you upgrade your rage up to 8 in one round. Well, the next round you're going to start out with 8 rage to spend on the rage tracker, okay? So that's how that works. Axes is glory for winning battles. So if you get axe icons, if you actually win those during the pillages, you're actually able to upgrade that. And for each battle, for example, you'll start out getting 3 points per battle. Well, you can upgrade to 4, 5, and so on and so forth. horns. This is the limit of figures on the map. So, you know, you can only have maybe 4 in the beginning, but you can actually upgrade this to 6, even up to 10 per every pillage and every time you get one of those icons, okay? So again, that's a cool upgrade to have. It's something you want to do. You definitely want to do rage early on. Just keep that in mind, because once you run out of rage, you really can't do much in the game. Once it gets down to 0, you're not allowed to do most actions. So just keep that in mind. That's how that's going to work, okay? One last thing that you need to know about this is once you get it up in these shaded blocks here, if you can get it up in these 2 per specifics, each one of these, let's say you put all 3 of these into this area, okay? Each one's going to count for 10 extra glory points at the end of the game. That could be 30 points, but if you can get all 3 up to the last shaded box, that gives you 20 extra glory per one of these tokens, and that will be 60 extra points by the end of the game. First off, if you look at warrior, leader, ship, you notice these little red numbers above each spot. That's going to be rage cost and also strength of that figure. So for example, if you go into battle, that's how much each one of your warriors are going to be worth in battle. Same thing with your leader and your ship. Your ship would be worth 2, your leader would be worth 3, warrior would be worth 1. The only caveat is, and that's also the cost to send them into battle, okay? The only caveat being is your leader, which invades for free, as it says right there. Now, as you go, you're going to want to take different kinds of upgrade cards, okay? And you're going to want to be able to play those. So, for example, if you want to upgrade your ships, like these Eternal Dragons here, the cost for the upgrade is 2 rage, as it says right there in the top left. So you go ahead and place that there, okay? And now your ship's upgraded, and you get to do special actions that it says on the card. For example, if I want to upgrade my my warriors, it's going to cost me 2. The cool thing is, not only is it going to cost me 2, but when I upgrade them, that now that I've paid for it, it also upgrades their strength, as it says right there. So now they're worth 2 strength apiece, and you place that there. Same goes for the Lord of Hammers. He gets to successfully pillage. If you successfully pillage with your leader, you may move him to an adjacent province. Really powerful card, and it comes in handy very well. All right, and then for example, you want to do your monster upgrades. That's going to be your fire giant. Okay, that's one of my favorites. This guy is really powerful. He goes here. All right, and then for example, clan upgrades. You've got 3. You can place them there. This one allows me to upgrade cards, and it costs me 1 less rage to play. That's pretty awesome. What I really like is the fact that, for example, these are 2 different warriors of the same clan, but there's 2 different sculpts, right? That's pretty amazing. Look at the detail on these shields, for example. And then you got your leaders who all have these banners, which I think is a really great way to differentiate them between the warriors. Different sculpts for warriors. I just love that. And then you take a look at these monster minis. Oh, look at the detail on that hammer there. I mean, look at his dreads, man. That thing is amazing, right? And here's one of my personal favorites, the Fire Giant. I have used this guy to win, I can't tell you how many countless battles, but once you put him on the board, it's like everybody else is like, all right, everybody get out of the way, we're gonna kill everybody. And look at this Frost Giant. The antithesis to the Fire Giant. Look at this guy. He looks like he's doing a dance move right there. But, I mean, just the detail on him, the hair, I mean, each particular, it's so paintable. Look at that. I mean, I'm ready to throw a splash of something on him. So we got to put some paint on this guy. I may have to do that sometime soon. But so let's say we invade Gimli here. Now, let's say another player says, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and invade as well. They're invading with a warrior. Okay, and they're going to have to pay 1 rage to do that because warriors cost that. Now, let's say the other player goes, okay, I want to put another one in there, and so on and so forth. And they just keep going until somebody calls for a pillage, all right? And that's going to be another action you can do, and that's actually free to do. The leader says, all right, I'm going to call for a pillage, the red player, and we're going to call the battle, okay? Once that happens, players in adjacent provinces have the opportunity to put more characters in to to these circular areas where the villages are until those are filled up. Once those are filled up, you can't bring anybody else in. So let's say that we call the battle, and the yellow player says, yeah, I need to add more strength to my area, because really all you're doing in the battle itself is comparing strength and seeing who wins it, okay? But on top of that, it comes down to the card combat, okay? And then the red player pulls Odin's Smite, and then the other player pulls Loki's Trickery, and yeah, the red player wins it because they're adding 3 plus 1, because remember, leader's 3 and the warrior's 1, and then they add another plus 1, and that's going to be your 5 points right there. Well, the other player, the yellow player, only has 2 strength, and they didn't add anything else, but they wanted to die, and they actually steal 1 rage from the winning player. So again, you know, you can make it work either way you go. You can live and win a battle and get points. You can die and get points. So, for example, now this player goes to Valhalla. All right, they're dead, and that player gets the pillage upgrade. Now, if they hadn't called for the pillage upgrade and they had just won the battle, the only thing they get are glory points on the board. They're going to get 3 glory points for winning the battle. Now, but since they got the pillage upgrade, they do this on their clan stat sheet. Remember, we moved that up by 1. Okay, so they move their horns marker up by 1. That is now pillaged. It cannot be repillaged unless you have a special ability. And that's the end of a battle. The next thing we're going to go ahead and cover is actually marching. Okay, so let's say that the brown player down here wants to actually march troops. Now, marching only works when you're on the board. It doesn't. It's invading is coming onto the board. Marching is for the characters that are already on the board. When you march, you pay 1 rage, and you actually take as many characters as you want out of one province into another province, and it doesn't have to be adjacent. That's a really nice thing. You can go anywhere you want that's not already destroyed. And so, but your quests are going to be these different green cards, right? So, for example, let's say you need to hold all of Alfheim here, okay? So that means any one of these provinces within this region, as long as you have, let's say, the most strength, okay, in that region, whether you have ships on the board in the fjord which cover both sides or anything else, if you have the most strength in one region and you're able to complete this quest, you get 7 victory points, which are represented by the blue number there, and also you get to raise your clan stats by 1. Now, there are quests also for having most in Valhalla, Glorious Death, you know, different regions specifically, and each one varies in amount of power, in points and what you get back on rewards. Now, to cover what happens at the end of an age, remember we talked about the doom tokens and we talked about the destruction of the end of the age and, you know, points for dying, going into Valhalla and such. Well, that's going to happen in any province that has this doom token, okay? Remember, you're looking on the actual round tracker to see which province is going to be destroyed next, and that's what you put the doom token down. So once Ragnarok hits, for each player who has something in here, they're going to get, you know, however many points at the end of that round or the end of that age. And for example, the next one's Gimli. They're all in there. You place this down. You take all the pieces out of it at the end of the age. You count up your points. And now the next round happens. You can no longer go into any round or any province that has this specific marker in it. Okay? And you're going to continue to go round after round after round. And a person with the most glory points at the end wins.
So what did we think of Blood Rain? I don't know, Greg, like, what did you think? I mean, let's start with the components.
Oh, well, I mean, what do you say? You have, like, these awesome little miniatures. Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're doing.
And even the clans. There's 4, I think, in the base set. 2 sculpts of each in terms of, you know, if you have, let's say, 8 people, you have 4 that look like one way, 4 that look another way. So a lot of variety there. Very well done. I mean, it's by Cool Mini or not. So what do you expect? They're going to get minis right, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean it's Cool Mini. So they didn't do the or not part of their name, which I love that. It's actually kind of an interesting thing that they did with that.
Awesome.
What did you think? Same. Pretty much.
I love it. There's a bunch of different types of monsters. So if you like the big guys or you like more agile monsters to fight with, you've got a lot of classic categories: sea monster, troll, giants.
It's Viking stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's that fantastical
good
stuff.
mythology in the thoughts about how they were going to make their characters. So
I think that the molds, and I have heard this from other reviewers, and I have to say that in many cases they're right. The molds are some of the best I've seen, at least in terms of, like, you got Games Workshop who does Warhammer 40K. Obviously, you have to put a lot of those together and things like that. When it comes to molds for ones you don't have to put together, these are high quality. I mean, you're looking at. This company is really proving itself to be one of the best in terms of miniatures on the market.
Yeah, like even like on here, you can't really see it on the camera, but there's a whole lot of just almost detail even on the head of the hammer. Like if you painted this,
Oh my gosh, yeah. You'd have to highlight it.
yeah,
Really
you
shade it
can
up.
bring out a ton of detail that you know, yeah.
I know, man, and I have been so tempted. I've actually painted a ton of my Imperial Assault miniatures, and I stopped that for a while because I just got busy. But I'll tell you what, these are so paintable. These are just begging to be painted. Yeah. And so yeah, I love it. What did y'all get? What did you guys think of the artwork specifically? Like you see the art in the game, the art of the box draws you in.
if you don't have a beard, you should grow one. Watching the artwork in the game, like I mean, you feel manlier just from seeing how well
I love how you put that.
they showed the vividness of the Viking culture.
That's
in the
right.
artwork.
Oh my gosh, they did, man. And it's like me and him. It's kind of funny that we're sitting next to each other, and when you're playing the game, you're just sitting there, kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna stroke my beard on because I feel it, man. I feel like, you know, you just want to do that. So, what'd you guys think? Overall experience in terms of the mechanics. I mean, I can honestly say just from the drafting phase, I love drafting in a game. I love being able to draft cards and try to. I did this to him in the last game. Try to keep him from getting a certain strategy, a type of cards that he likes to play. I don't know. What you guys think of it?
I thought the drafting was great. They give an option for people that haven't played before, so that way you will be able to draft and you won't be able to suffer from not having seen the cards before, and then you can change it later on.
And you do generally have a general idea of what everybody else has. You're never going to be exactly sure, especially the more people that are playing.
Except from no poker face over here. I got you on 2 cards. I said, you've got those, don't you? He's like, maybe. And I'm like, yeah, and you pull them out. It's like, absolutely, man. No poker face on this guy.
Didn't even try.
But you know, I think that, like I said, the drafting's awesome. I absolutely love, the one thing I like about this game is I love the fact that it's a point salad in many ways. You have so many paths to victory, so many ways to get points. You can live and get points. You can die and get points. You can go to fight with each other and get points. I mean, you can go to fight with him and die in that battle and get points. And it's a repeat of what I'm saying, but there's so many ways to die in the game that you can get points. And that part of that is the drafting phase, the upgrades on the, and I should have brought this up in the artwork part, but the upgrades on your player board, I love the fact for variable player powers, I love the fact that you start out all the same, you build your characters, you build your clan up as you go, and there's so many things that you can do on that. I mean, everything from leader upgrades, warrior ships, monsters, which these guys love it, man. This is another aspect. You were talking about how it makes you feel manly, how it brings out that masculine. It really does. Like, that's what the Viking culture was known for. They were known for this, and you're going to get that theme. That's another thing. Theme.
Oh, yeah, big time. I was also going to say, though, that's kind of, in a sense, an engine building mechanic. As you're upgrading, you're starting to get stronger, which lets you do better the next round, etc.
Absolutely. And but that's the thing. I love the fact that you're able to do that. That's one of my favorite type of games too, is engine building games. You like the fact that you feel like you're putting something together that at some point you can actually start accomplishing a lot later on in the game. You might start out a little, but you get that, you make some really good decisions to get that long-term goal. That what is it? It's like going for a Hail Mary at the end of the game. In this game, it's crazy. I actually was able to come back. Parrish was whooping us. We played this game again tonight. He was whooping us with one guy, the Army of One, man of war over here. One guy. I don't think you pulled out any extra troops till the third age.
Yeah.
And he was tearing us apart. I mean, he was upgrading his clan. He was getting battle points for the most part. And we were sitting there going, I was sitting there going, ain't no way I'm coming back from that. And typically, what do? I do a ton of upgrades at the beginning. Isn't that like a normal strategy of mine?
Yeah, normally.
And I'm point salading because I want to get that 60 extra points at the end of the game. But in this game, in the last game that we played, for the first time, well, I shouldn't say this for the first time. I've tried other strategies before, but I typically try to go with that almost every time. I tried a new strategy. I said, I've got to get those quest cards.
Well, but that's kind of what Parrish talked about, in that, yes, you can go for a strategy, but if you're not able to adapt in this game,
yes,
you're going to lose, and that's what you did. You adapted, so you're not locked into your engine building. Each round you play, you can look at what's there and adjust, and that's what you did. That's what you said you needed to do.
I very much think that Blood Rage is like a tabletop version of a chess game. In chess, there are countless millions of moves, and as you progress through the game, if you know chess, you have to be able to adapt your strategy. There are classic strategy patterns that people can follow, but they all have their counterparts, and that is exactly what Blood Rage is. It's a game of chess. Every move you make is an important move. There are no unimportant moves, but there are many different ways to have fun and play the game. That it's not linear.
And that part's awesome. I love that.
And I like what you said there, because you're right. There's many ways to play and have fun, but this is one of those games that even if you're losing, it's still fun.
Yeah.
And I was on my typical strategy of winning until the very end, and then not winning.
But you're still Greg. That's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, but at the same time, I've never played this and not have fun.
Right.
It's just an incredibly fun game.
That's the marks of a great game, ultimately. And we actually had a guy with us tonight. I'm not going to name his name necessarily, but we had a guy with us tonight who had never lost a game that I think he's played several times, but we've always lost to him. And we were actually able to come back, and I love the fact that, he's a deep thinker. He actually is a very good strategist normally, but for whatever reason tonight, with Parrish's change in strategy, I think it affected all of us at first, and we all had to adapt. And I think my brother wasn't able to adapt quickly enough until about the third age. He started to come into his stride a little bit better. But I'm telling you, that's the thing. I ended up ultimately winning and almost lapping some guys. But the fact was, at the beginning, I thought I had no hope. Like I said, he was riding out front. I think at one point you were too, weren't you?
I was in the front the entire.
Yeah, you were in the front the entire game. He was
until
close.
the end. That's my strategy.
Still, Greg got points on the board first.
Yes, he did, and that's what I'm saying. Love that. Love the fact that you can come from behind like that. Love the fact that no matter what you do, I mean, I love this game. Really, the theme comes through. This game keeps me coming back and excited to keep playing, even when I'm losing. And like he said, I can echo that. I feel the exact same way.
But do you also feel, the part of the draw of it is there's so many different ways that you can play, so you don't get into a rut where you get burnt out on it. It's not like you're playing the same thing every time. It's like, I'm going to try this time.
Well, and I've played this a lot myself. I don't think... Any game can have that.
Right.
It's funny you mentioned chess. I loved playing chess back in the day, and I still like playing it. I just don't play it as often, and maybe that's why it appeals to me, because when I was younger, when I was in high school, study hall was not homework time for me. It was, I brought the chessboard out or whatever we did, but most of the time I brought a chessboard with me, and I challenged guys to play. And so I think you hit on something that I never even thought about. This game does feel like, because it's almost pure strategy.
Yeah.
The only real, I say luck, the only real luck part of the game is the cards that are drafted to you, but even then you can make some strategic choices. Say a card you like getting normally doesn't come to you. There are several cards that they kept from me. I actually took one card he normally gets, and it helped me. And I had to think ahead. I was like, what card works best with another card? The combos.
The Fire Giant card works best.
It does, man.
Gosh.
Yeah, I held on to this guy until the bitter end, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bring him out now. You have to. I strategically brought him out and said he's going to be best used here. And I think it foiled something you were trying to do at that point, right?
Yes.
So, but I'm not trying to beat it into your head that I won, but the fact is that you can do that. You can hold certain cards from round to round and go from there and actually beat it out on strategy. So anyway, on our beard rating scale, if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to go into too much tonight, but it basically, for me, Man, I'm not sure. Where do you put it? Where do you put it?
I already know. I'm on full beard. This is 9. This is
a 9 for you?
It's full beard.
Really? What about you, brother?
Billy Gibbons all the way.
A little ZZ Top, so you're saying a 10.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Perfect 10. We've never had one on the Dice Odyssey yet. I'll say this, as of right now, I probably am doing the exact same thing. I think I'm doing the ZZ Top. I think I'm going that way. It's a 10, and I don't award 10s to anything like this normally. I'm the reason being is what's that?
It's got to be rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. But the only reason I'm saying that I think this is a 10 in my book, it's probably because it's my favorite game as of right now. It's fast becoming that.
Right.
And I can't. And there's a lot. I got a lot of games on my shelf, and there's some that I dearly love. But I'm going to tell you what. This is the one I think about most often when I sit down to a game night. I'm going, what do I want to play the most? Yep. This comes up. I mean, Dead of Winter's great too, but this one comes up more often than not. One other thing I want to mention: the brevity of the game. Yep. A game like this, I have had. We had Tiffany. We had one of these girls in our game group who does not like playing games like this. She normally plays more party games, right? She plays like things like Resistance, Spyfall, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
A little simpler, right? She latched onto this game and whooped us the first time she ever played. If that doesn't speak to the power of Blood Rage, I don't know what else does. I really don't.
People come in and want to play this game, and we all know that we have gamers that come over, and it's that guy in the group that once things get out ahead of him, they'd rather just not play the game anymore. The guy that gets up in the middle of the game and says, hey man, I'm just going to go ahead and go home because there's no chance that I'm going to win. And that kind of ruins the fun for everybody else. So the fact that this game can be something that you love to lose at and love to win at is a great asset to the game. That's because it allows for everybody to have fun, and you don't end up ripping cards in half and punching your friends in the face.
Like somebody we know. Well, at least they're ripping the cards in half. Wow. And that was a thick card, basically.
And so you don't see that in this game. Kaz, he beat me tonight, and Brian Exum, which we aren't mentioning Brian Exum's name, but Brian Exum.
Way to throw him under the bus. Let me pull him out from under there, man.
He's won every time, and then he didn't win tonight. And every time that I've gotten beaten by either of those, I've never gotten beaten by Still Greg.
That's because Still Greg never won the game.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I just second place.
But even if Still Greg beat me, I'd still have fun with it. And y'all don't know me yet, but I'm a competitive person, so that's to say a lot.
Yes.
In fact, let me just throw this in here. When I play games with these two, I don't expect to come in first or second. I expect to come in third because they're ridiculously good at games.
Hey man, oh thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I'll make sure to remember that next time we play too. I'm not gonna take it easy on you though. So anyway, yeah, I mean you heard it here. We really love it. We have given this 10s, a 9. I have to say that if you haven't played this, you must try it at least once. You must try it at least once. So anyway, I think that's going to be all for us. Thank you so much for watching the Dice Odyssey videos. Hey, have you played Blood Rage? Have you gotten a chance to even, sit down with this game yet? Has it intimidated you just by looking at the pieces on the board and you walked away from it? Please let us know in the comments. And again, I'm Kaz.
Still Greg.
Yes, he is.
I'm Parrish, not Kaz.
You know what? Brian does that too. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day and game away.